Why do you always move up?
Because I don't want to be back by the thing.
Well, if I move up, my head gets a little silhouette with the light. It's from behind me.
Oh, it's from that.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. How we doing? Trying to find our video. Oh, I'm not. Oh, no. I need to switch my accounts. This is not how Monday is supposed to start. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Turn us down. Do you want to try and do the normal? Name them real quick.
Name them?
Yep.
Okay. Hello, Matthew, Ellie, Texas, David, Kim, Zachary, Austin, Andrew, Cole, Ellie, Michael, James, Marvin, Tyke.
I get to see the names. I can see the comments coming in as you're reading.
And Jim.
Hi, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. So, funny story. I decided to somewhat decorate our backdrop because I feel, I don't know, if we're going to talk racing, you got to be able to connect with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're just us and a planet with this wall, it's kind of like, what are we watching?
Mm-hmm.
So I attempted to decorate so you guys could get a sense of us, how to do that. Is this facing the right way? It is. Cool.
We also unloaded a lot of stuff in the house yesterday, and she didn't know where to put it all.
Yeah. Correct.
Neither did I.
But I thought my theory here is it's us, everything race related in our family. So, I mean, we've got Jim and Kathy over there. We've got me and Mike. Got my dad, my nephew, Jim and Mike. Jim, Kathy, Mike. I got Mom, Billy, Michelle. Me, Dad. Me, Mike. Yeah. I thought this was a nice, kind of makes me feel like our family is here, but they're not. We're all by ourselves. Anyways.
Mandy's hair is fire today.
It is? Who said that? Oh, thank you.
I said it.
Oh. Thanks, babe. This is what happens when you actually have to do something today. So I dressed up for the occasion. And cheers!
A fancy glass, too.
Yeah, so since we had my brother on the Friday talk show, I guess we'll say, we didn't really get to talk about all the stuff that dropped in the Arbonne world. One for certain is the strawberry fizz that dropped. And I'm dressed up because I did a photo shoot because my business has hit like a milestone, which I never thought was even physically possible, but we did it.
Mandy did $100,000.
My team and
her team and her did $100,000 worth of business with Arbonne in the past month.
Yeah, just this month. The month isn't even over yet. So big things happening. It's exciting. But yeah, so Mike went and I raced yesterday, and what was funny was like where Mike walks in is like right over there. So I'm sitting here like all proud of myself, and he walks in and he's kind of like, what's this? I'm like, really? You can't just fake it for me? Well, I think, because this isn't, like, we don't own this house. And the paneling, you don't want to put holes in. So I think he was afraid that I drilled holes in every single one. But I used those things with the sticky backends.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Thank you. So.
They're Velcro on.
Yeah.
It's like.
So it's nice. Okay, so enough of that. Let's see what kind of questions we have today.
Texas Guns and Gear says, are you right-handed or left-handed tear-off puller? I'm a right-handed tear-off puller because I'm a left-handed steerer. Steer like this and
steer.
Like and he says, why do you only race with one glove on occasion? I was racing with one glove because I only had one good glove. And then I got some new gloves that didn't have the fingers ripped off. And I started wearing two gloves.
Shout out to Marissa because she's watching Spoonhauer. She's on my team. Yay! Couldn't do it without you. She's also going. She just earned her cash bonus and is on her way to her first promotion.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, is there a race tonight? Is there a race tonight?
Yeah.
Are you racing tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
World of Outlaws late models at Williams Grove, which I've got a real problem with the Williams Grove track.
Online.
Well, there's this weird gate on the backstretch, and people just push you into it, and it's deadly.
It
just doesn't make sense to me there.
Is it the one out of two or actual backstretch gate under the bridge?
Backstretch under the bridge.
Oh, well then just don't avoid that, man.
The wall doesn't go straight. It's like Grandview. It's like this.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to avoid. But I don't remember that in real life, so I don't know if that's realistic. That gate, is there a gate there? Like that they leave open?
Yeah, there's no correct. Yeah. Because that's how the outside pits crosses to the inside.
Right.
And
but don't they shut the gate and have a gate there for you to run into if you get smashed into it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know if they do or not. I mean, maybe by the time they put the gate there with all the new safety upgrades, the track hasn't been upgraded on iRacing.
That's probably true.
See? Yeah, Mark says there is no gate, so.
Good, because those aren't good. They're not safe.
Oh, my goodness. So, Michael, would you like to tell us how your morning was?
My morning was fine. We were getting... So, where we put our scale pads on the floor, we're getting ready to start scaling cars again. So,
where are you going?
What?
Where are you going?
Just getting ready.
Okay.
So, put new paint marks on the floor so that they go in the same spot every time because the paint was kind of getting worn out. And working on getting a transit so I can level the scales, like make sure that they're all the correct height and level. Otherwise, not a whole lot of point in scaling the car because it wouldn't be accurate, right? Yeah. So we're working on that, and also kind of working on having two places to scale instead of just the one.
Sorry.
Because last year was kind of like, well, if we're trying to scale this car over here, there's no, like, you have to shuffle the cars around to scale two cars. So we're trying to get it to where you can do it in two spots, have them both leveled out. And that took a lot of like moving stuff around in the shop to be able to get ready to do that because everything's crammed in there for winter.
Yep.
Once we get rolling, there'll be a lot more room. So.
If anyone wants to buy a race car, there's one in our garage that it needs to go.
Yeah, it's a complete roller.
Please.
It's got everything but the engine. So if you'd like to, looking to get a complete roller, let me know.
Nick asks, do you have to buy a license over there to race? We have to pay $220 and a medical to get one. I mean, you have to get a track license, right? Like
to race where?
Like at your home track, you don't have to get a license.
Yeah. Don't need anything.
Well, yeah, as long as you have a driver's license.
No, don't need that either.
Okay, well, that's in Jersey.
New Jersey, they have the state police there, so they make sure that you have a legal driver's license. And Pennsylvania, like for Grandview, you have to have a NASCAR license for insurance reasons because they're NASCAR sanctioned. All the tracks in New York, you just sign in. That's it.
James wants to know how much are you asking?
$8,000. It's complete, has everything in it except the engine. I mean, the radiator, the oil cooler, there's a seat in it. It's got everything: fuel cell, steering box, transmission, drive shaft, rear end. It's got a big bearing front rear, wheels, tires, shocks. It's coilover car, all around.
It's currently holding all the toilet paper and paper towels.
It has a complete spare set of bumpers and rub rails. The body's really straight on it. Looks good. It actually won its last race at Airborne.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mike Karate raced it last at Airborne and won. He won with it. So
What year?
It's a good car.
Do we know what year it is?
It's an 07 TO Pro car.
I talk to it every day, so it's full of love and attention. I just need space in the garage. That'd be great.
Yeah. If you message me on Facebook, I can send you pictures.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's liking the new setup. Thanks, Ellie. Yay! Although I'm noticing that I need another picture on your side because it's slightly uneven. I'm not okay with that. Well, if you're looking at it on here,
I see. Yeah. It's backwards.
we need Kathy. You need to send us a picture of like the family at the racetrack or something so we can hang it up over there. Because that'd be perfect. Oh man. All right. What else? Land of Legends are hopefully to start practicing May 2nd. How about Orange? Have you heard any? Like, has any word been out at all as far as anything when we're starting? I don't think we really can. Yeah.
Just rumors.
Okay.
No word. No real word.
Okay.
I mean, people put up practices because I think you can probably get away with that.
Mm-hmm.
If there's not too many people.
6 foot distance.
Yeah.
Mom's gonna send you some pictures, babe.
Great.
Sweet.
Kyle Diemendorf asked Mike, do you like Brewerton because you seem to look great at the Hurricane this past year? I love Brewerton. It's a very racy track. I used to race there weekly years ago. It's a small, tight track with 2 different corners. So you go downhill into a really tight corner in 1 and 2. Then you go uphill into a sweeping 3 and 4. And it's like a D-shaped backstretch. It's really, really good racing there.
Burden?
Yeah.
I really like Burden. Fun fact. Yeah, it was Burden. I think it was the last time my dad raced Brewerton was, I think we're doing the satellite shows for Super Dirt Week.
Yeah, which is
right?
a common
yeah.
one. That's a big deal, like, 'cause during Dirt Week, everybody's there and can just kind of shoot over to these satellite races.
So we were parked, like, way out back. But however, we were parked, I think they had, do they do the 600 modifieds up there? Ever?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's the division we were parked back with. So it's like, it's one thing when you're parked next to a bunch of modifieds and you know, okay, it's time to go racing because our guys are, like, getting in their cars. But we're surrounded by a bunch of other divisions. So I heard cars on the track. I knew, like, we qualified and everything. It was just me, my dad, and 1 crew guy. So it was just the 3 of us. We're thrashing to get the car ready to go for the feature. And John White had come over and thanked us and was making small talk with my dad. Well, while all this was going on, we missed the feature. I'm pretty sure that was the last time my dad went to Brewerton. Like, we're talking to the gosh darn, like, track owner, and we missed the feature. So he straps in, and it was, I think they had just thrown the green flag, and Dad had made it right out to the exit, and they wouldn't let him go. Like, they didn't even make a lap in yet. So I was like, but I like the track. But that's, I mean, you have the tendency to miss stuff when you're far, far away. Okay, that was
that brings up a good point. It's very stressful when you're at the races and you're in the pits and you have to make sure that you're up to the lineup on time, but not too early because it jams up the pit area.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be lined up just at the time when it's your group to go out. And I know the guys like Larry that lines us up for the Dirt Series. I mean, it's a stressful job making sure everybody's there. And
yeah,
it's hard.
I always give him a smile and a wave. Everyone else probably like wants to punch him out, but I just give him a smile and a wave. Ooh, Nick asks, do you wear a rib protector, especially for a long race?
I don't even know what that is, but the seats have padding on the ribs.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the idea of the full containment seats is they have shoulder pads so that when you get a side impact or you're leaning to the side, your shoulder takes a big amount of the impact instead of all into your ribs. Like the old seats, you'd hit in the side and it all would hit on the ribs and your hip. Mm-hmm. But now you got some in the shoulder. And
it's like whenever I go go-karting, I have to use like extra padding. Otherwise, I come out all bruised.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's terrible. So, John Doe with the question. What do you like most about each other?
I like Mandee's curly hair.
Thanks. Thank you. Okay, this is almost like the other question the other day. When you ask me that quick, it's kind of like, I know I have better answers, but what do I like most? Well, hang on, is it most? Oh, it's most about you. I like how grounded you make me. Right? Maybe? Yeah.
Okay.
He's more realistic in a sense, and he kind of brings me back down, like centered. But yet, I like how everyone. Well, you guys kind of got a glimpse of him in his little or fun videos recently, but there's a fun side to him. Not many people get to see.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So you just like my curly
Mandee
hair?
has a fun side too, but she's very business oriented, and she is able to like stay on track and work toward big goals, like $100,000 in a month. That's nuts.
Yes. Yes. Big goals. We're both very driven, I would say.
Nice muscles.
Yeah, I just
watched the replay of
that. That was great.
Hey, Cheryl's on here today. Hi, Cheryl. Thanks.
Let's see. So Big Country Productions asks, maybe a crazy question, but why are modifieds more popular in the northern states than in South? I have 5 local tracks and never seen them run there. I would say it's the manufacturer, no?
Yeah, all the manufacturers are up here, and they all started up here, and the history is all up here, and nobody ever really expanded it down that way, other than just for the Florida races.
I remember we did Virginia Motor Speedway for like a year or 2,
mm-hmm.
But really, only other people that just want us is Charlotte and Lucia.
I mean, the big thing to make that happen is just when if they do happen to have a race that's down your way, mm-hmm. Go.
Yeah, very much.
Support it, or else it won't be back.
There was someone that asked if we ever come to Illinois. I was thinking, like, I'd imagine if we were like the Outlaws or the Late Models to travel throughout the country, we could definitely do that. It's just a matter of like, I don't know, who would want to put that together, right? Like we have our touring series, but it's more just northeast. We don't travel the country like the Outlaws do. But maybe someday. I'm just going to keep selling Arbonne and make my millions, and we're going to have a traveling series. It's going to be the Mandee Modified series. I just made that up. That was terrible. That was terrible.
Wow. Larry asked, how many pole starts do you have in your career and how many wins from the pole? And I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'd love it if somebody kept stats, but
it's interesting.
I'm too busy like making sure the bolts are tight.
We don't usually have good drawing to start in the pole,
though. James Brown asked, do you study the racetrack like most drivers before you race to know if you will run the bottom or the top? You can make a very, estimated guess on what the track's going to do by looking at it before the race. And I think most people it's smart to go look at it, but you can be wrong too. So you kind of have to make the best guess for what you need to do to the car. And then when you get out there, you kind of got to fly by the seat of your pants and move around as the track changes, because it does change a lot from the beginning of the feature to the end. Heat races, not so much. Like heat races, the first lap is much different than the last.
Well, it's almost like it reminds me of, was it Port Royal last year when you were so good in the heat race? But you never had time to go look at the track because it was just like.
Oh yeah, so it was just me and my dad
Mm-hmm.
and Mandee, but she was also trying to keep track of her
was
working, and your brother was there,
and dad was there.
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of tough. But anyway, just me and my dad come in from the heat race, ran really well, and then they asked you to come to the front stretch to do the the redraw. Which we love to do stuff for the fans and everything, but like when I don't have a big crew, that means I'm leaving my dad alone to work on the car.
Yeah.
So we had he scraped the mud off the car, did some tires, whatever, but we did. I literally ran back and they were calling us up to go out for the feature as soon as I was done with the redraw.
Yeah,
so then there was literally no time to make any adjustments or even look to see if we needed to make any adjustments. So it's like nights like that, it's very tough. It's helpful, like vice versa. When I raced for Doug Emery in the sprint car, he would make all those changes on his own, and I would just hop in and drive the car. So I could go to the redraw and not worry about it. Less stressful that way.
Andrew says that we should do a fun video of a tire changing contest. Well, you see now, I'm probably just gonna lose. So I'm already going in lost. There's no way I'd do a contest with you. Maybe like if we're like doing a plank and putting it on or a handstand or something, I might be able to beat him with that.
Just watch Super Dirt Week. That's a tire changing contest.
Yeah, but they're saying like us.
Oh, me and you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I practice a lot more than she does.
Yeah.
I don't know why I practice. I'm not doing the tire.
I know, but you get like
The thing is, how many times a day and throughout the year do you think I have to take tires on and off just in the shop alone?
Like I know I'm strong, but I'm also I'm strong but short. But some tires I'm still like I see people that don't even need to look to line the tire up to put it on. They just like boom boom boom, they got it.
Yeah.
I'm down here like my arms are tired. I gotta put the tire down and then put it back on again. Yeah. It's like curling my hair. My arms get tired when my hands are up here for so long. I don't know how people do this every day. It's terrible.
It's like working out at the gym, I guess. If you just keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's easier.
That's true. That is very true. Okay, Andrew, running off of that question you had. When a driver reads the track while driving, what are you looking for in C?
You're looking for the different shades of color in the dirt. So initially, when they first do the track, the whole track looks like brown and wet. And then when they run the middle, when everybody runs the middle, and it'll start to get like glassier and slicker looking. And you'll feel like, oh, when I hit that shade of color, the tires spin. But when I get down here or I go up here, the tires hook up. So you're looking for that color of dirt where the car seems to feel the stick better, right? So, and obviously what happens is the shortest, like most momentum line wears out first, and then people start either running the top or the bottom from there. Yeah. And like spreading across.
So it's not just driving the car, but you also have to read the track.
Definitely. It's very important, because if you just keep running that middle line, when it wears out, you're not going to go anywhere.
Correct. Let's see. Okay, so Nick asks, what are some of the more dusty tracks you race, and how does that affect the driver? Like the vision, the breathing, and car with air filter, radiator, other moving parts and pieces. I mean,
a long-winded
it's
question.
more like if it's a dusty track, how does it affect the driver and the car? Like the equipment, your filters and stuff affects it greatly.
Yeah, I mean,
your eyeballs. Oh my god, your eyeballs. Yeah.
See, a lot of them are dusty, so you kind of get used to it, and you have to put you have to put good seals on your air filter, like a rubber gasket underneath your top washer. Put grease around the plates before you sandwich them together to put them on, and make sure there's a good gasket on top of the carburetor, just so no dirt can get in the engine. And then, the engine builder needs to make sure that like they put silicone around all their gaskets when they put their intakes on. Let's see. We do use a helmet blower, like to put air in the helmet, but I've never really needed that for dust. It's just it just keeps the shield from defogging or from fogging up. And the dust, what I do is I put this like Velcro a skirt around the bottom of the helmet, and it keeps the dust from coming up through the bottom.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference.
That's good.
That's all I can think of.
Thank you, sir. So Kyle asks Mike, is it easier to get along with Mandee's family with all of you sharing the same passion for the same sport, or is it harder with how competitive the sport is?
It's a little of both.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of competition there, and there's a lot of common interest as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's both.
Thanks. Okay. Larry asks, Mike, how low is the right rear pressure on lap 1 compared to lap 30?
Well, that all depends. Track.
Is it cold out?
Yeah,
Is it warm
temperature. It could vary.
Wet and dry?
If you got everything right, it might only go from 10 pounds to 12 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
If you're spinning the tires and making a lot of heat, it could go from 10 pounds to 17 pounds. I mean, it completely depends. If the track was rubbered up, it would make a ton of heat. If it's slippery and you're spinning, it makes a medium amount of heat. If you're hooked up and you're going really well, the tire doesn't seem to heat up too bad. Like it stays quenched in the moist dirt.
Randy said that we should do an episode on prepping a tire. Start with a muddy tire and go from there.
Start with a muddy tire?
Evidently.
Prepping a muddy tire?
I guess.
Well, the first thing you should do is wash it.
Yeah. Yeah. We haven't done a tire video yet, have we?
No, not that I know of. No, I think we did one on stagger, but we didn't really do it on preparation.
Yeah.
So we could do that.
Like the fact that we pay so much for a tire, but we just chunk it off. Yeah. So Bob asks, no bleeders like sprints?
Actually, dirt car, with the Super Dirt Car series, they don't allow bleeders. So we have to try and dry the air or run nitrogen or whatever to try to keep the air pressure from building. But yeah, I guess it's just all on track rules.
Just more work for the crew or you. Someone has to worry about that. Because imagine
it's a lot of work either way.
Yeah.
Because if you run the bleeders, you got to make sure that they're
clean.
set right and clean and all that.
Like
they can get stuck, right? Yeah. And then if you don't run the bleeders, then you got to do a lot of extra work, try not to get the tire pressure to grow. So it's a lot of work either way. Tires are a lot of work.
More technology, yeah, they are. Christian asks, what dirt racing legend would you race with if you had the chance?
Boy, I don't know. I think I have no idea.
Yeah. We'll have to answer that one.
Like all of them? It'd be great to race with all of them.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick one. Whichever one doesn't run into the side of my car and make damage, so I have to fix it. That'd be my answer.
I could actually win this one. Contest can be that I put the tire on the car. You have to mount the tire onto the wheel and then put it on the car. I think I can handle that one.
That sounds a little unfair.
You're more experienced, so I need to get a head start.
Okay.
Only fair.
What else we got?
Ralph. When did coil springs become the hot setup, and why are they better than bars?
Well, you got me swinging. They started a couple of years ago on modifieds. That started to be like a trend because I'm thinking it's because the late models were making a lot of speed with their coil suspensions, and the modifieds have kind of adapted to that style. And why are they better? Other than there's just the rear end can move around more without bind. With the torsion bars, when you got like the right rear way up and the left rear way down and all this motion, the arms hit the side of the bird cages, and there's like the arms sliding around on the roller and all that, where a coil can go wherever. I think that's the reason why they had to switch to coils.
I was just thinking that we walked to get ice cream. I'm looking out the window, don't mind me. We walked to get ice cream on Saturday for the first time.
Yep. But when we went in, we had to wear masks.
Yep.
And when we walked out, there was some bikers, and they asked us, "How are you gonna eat your ice cream?"
Yeah. The lady offered us to give us samples. I was like, what is the purpose of me wearing this mask if you're gonna let me have samples, because I'm just gonna have to take my mask off? Like, it just made no sense. And then this morning I went out. I'm gonna have to show you guys my cool mask. I'm proud of it. But I went to the grocery store this morning, and all I see is like these people wearing masks, but they're just taking off, itching their face, putting it back on. I don't understand it. I don't know. This is a strange world we're living in. I know it'll pass, but it's really weird. It's really weird. Really, really weird.
I got a question that I can answer. It says, Ronnie Smith says, who is a more on the gas driver, Mike, Billy Sr., or Jr.? Billy Sr. 100%. Yeah. He likes to run the outside wall right next to it, full throttle the whole way around. That would be his preferred track every time, I think.
Sounds all right.
He'll be the only one up there when everybody else is running the bottom.
Yep. I love it.
Yep.
Christian asks, will you run New Speedway next year at some point? I imagine you might mean this year. Just hypothetically speaking.
Hopefully this year.
Yeah. Is that a yes? I imagine.
Sure.
You better be.
I don't know. It depends on the schedule.
Yeah.
We'll have schedules when they lift the
To be determined when we find out. Is it already? OMG. It's already 33 minutes.
Yep.
Well, this has been fun. I don't even know what we're having for lunch yet.
So our grandpa says they say bars are more forgiving on rough tracks, but coils are better when they're set up correctly.
Your grandpa?
Our grandpa. It says, well, our grandpa.
Like the person's name's our grandpa?
Yep.
Where the hell did you say that? Like their name is our grandpa. It should be your grandpa. Interesting. Okay, so as we're just like scrolling, what are you guys saying? What's going on? This has been fun. Hope you guys had a fun weekend. I know we got quite a bit done, especially around the house. Made it look more decorative. I'm going to go put some Vaseline on the bird feeder because now the chipmunk has figured out how to eat out of that because he's been watching the squirrel. So therefore, the poor birds aren't eaten. So I'm going to go take care of that, and then maybe we'll eat animals first, and then we'll feed you.
Okay.
And we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Kim just mentioned that my cousin Joey Smith, he's gonna race this year, which he did. He's been, he's in the military. He's a police officer, He just had some shoulder surgery, so he's like trying to get back on his feet, and he will be racing this year. So that's exciting to have a family member.
Albany?
I think he'll rather race Albany and Lebanon Valley.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So
sweet.
He's working on he's got 2 cars, and he just got a new engine. So
that'll be fun. Whenever the heck that happens, it'll be good. So there should be like, can I make an expandable clicker thing just to turn it off? I'm mentally telling you to turn off. It's not working.
See you guys.
See you guys tomorrow.